when we want to start communicating with our spirit guides, there are 5 basic elements that we need to take into consideration. Because what happens is that we are in the physical 3D world, and the spirit guides are, up there, we don't know where, in the spirit world, and they're not in a body like us, and they don't have a voice like us. So we need to be able to sense the invisible and sense their messages. So the first tool that I am giving you is to hone your intuition and to trust it. Now, I've already talked about it in my first video of the Invisible Accessible series, so I'm not going to go back into too much details. You can go back and watch it if you wish. But what I can remind you is that the spirit guides communicate with us through a very physical 3D means, since they don't have a voice. So you need to be attentive to signs like TV series, movies, commercials, songs, books, images, or even when you're walking in the streets, people that are having a conversation, you might get a glimpse of the conversation and you just know that's the spirit guides answering the question that you asked them maybe an hour or a day earlier. So that is the first tool. Now the 3 next tools that I'm going to give you, they are kind of all intertwined, but I rank them from easiest to hardest. So see, if you are a beginner, I would advise you to start with practicing mindfulness. So what mindfulness is to bring your full attention to the present moment, and by doing so, being extremely open and non-judgmental. And you can do that by doing some breathing exercises. You can also be mindful of your everyday activities. For example, if you are cooking a meal, you can do it in mindfulness by being in the present moment. And while the meal, when the meal is done and it's time to enjoy it, you can enjoy it by focusing on your 5 senses. Same can be done if you go take a walk in the forest. You can take a walk by focusing on your 5 senses, and it's bringing you into mindfulness. And what happens is that it's clearing up your channel of communications with the guides, because you don't have all these incessant thoughts in your minds and emotions, and you can connect to yourself and to your environment. And so it puts you in a state that you are very attentive, open, and receptive to the messages and the signs from the guides. So after that, what I would advise you to do is to be conscious of your ego. Now, if you don't know what the ego is, I like to compare it to a little devil or a goblin that is, maybe you want to imagine it on your shoulder or in your head, and it is constantly telling you negative thoughts. So it's not you talking to yourself, it's the goblin that is saying you are not pretty, you are not good enough, you will be unable to achieve this, you are a victim. The goblin loves you to be a victim. It's always you versus them. You are you have the right answer, they are always wrong. The goblin loves drama. And what you need to do is that when you realize that you are having a negative thought and that it's your goblin, just take a step back and be the observer of your thoughts and your emotions and go, I was having a negative emotion that is completely unnecessary, or maybe you were replaying events from the past, and that's just bringing you unnecessary pain because it was in the past, it's no longer in the present. Or maybe you are stressing about the future because you're having an exam in a week. So you're like, oh, okay, negative thought or negative or too intense emotion, that's my ego, and you take a step back, and when you do so, it reduces the number of incessant thoughts and intense emotions, and it comes to clear your channel of communications with the guides. Now, my other tool that is a bit more advanced, if you have never meditated, I know it can be hard just to be alone somewhere in silence. And so I suggest you to be very gentle with yourself and start with 3 to 5 minutes per day. Now, I'm not saying that you will be able to communicate with your spirit guides with just 3 to 5 minutes of meditating. In my experience, it doesn't work, but it's just a starting point for you to be able to go up to at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, or at least 15-20 minutes before a session where you will be talking to your guides. And what happens is that when you meditate, it brings you into a state of stillness, of peace, and you are able to open that channel and to sense the invisible. And the guides are, if you do it very often, every day in the same room, the guides will pick up on that and will be ready for when you ask them questions and communicate with them. This too I touched upon in another video that concentrates on meditation. I did a video on the 5 golden rules of meditation to communicate with your guides, so you can go back and watch that. But meditation is a must if you want to communicate with your spirit guides. Now, once you've done all that, if you are a beginner, it's very, very difficult to just sit there and talk to your spirit guides and know, like, you're always, at the beginning, you're always wondering, is it me? Am I imagining things? Is it really them talking to me? So what I suggest you do is that you use 3D earth plane objects to help you communicating. A first tool that you can use if you're asking a yes or no question is the pendulum. So that's good to get validation from your spirit guide, but that's not what is going to help you to have really a full guidance to help you on your personal and spiritual development. So it's nice to use the pendulum, you know, it turns in a certain way and it says yes, another way it says no. There are videos on YouTube about that you can check if you're curious. So it's good for validation. But if you want to have more information, more guidance from your guides, one of my favorite tools, and you know about it, it's oracle cards. I really love working with them, even if now I don't really need cards or 3D stuff to help me communicate with the guides. It's just, I love the artwork on it. I just love the playfulness of the cards. It reminds us that when we were kids and playing with cards. And so what happens is that you ask your question, you ask an open question like, what do I need to know right now? How can I improve myself on this aspect of my life? How can I move forward? You know, any tips, but you want to ask an open question. And then you can pull one card. There are different card spreads that are always explained either in the booklet or on the web. And there is always a word or a sentence on the card that will help you to know more. And then once you're a little more advanced, you can talk to the guides and ask them, okay, what else, what do you have to tell me with this card about, for example, gratitude? What is your message with gratitude? And so that is a physical object that can help you you know, establish the bridge and that channel with the guides. Another good tool is automatic or intuitive writing. So it can either be done by writing in a journal, or it can be done on a computer. Now, some people say that the guides prefer it to be done by handwriting. Personally, I have problems with my arms, so I don't always do it by handwriting. And sometimes I do it on a computer. It works well. And I've heard of some stories of people who have had, you know, very clear audience that just started with communicating with our guides on a computer. So that is a possibility, but just try out what fits best for you. And it's the same that with the oracle cards, you just ask your question. And at first you are writing, and at first it might be just you, what you think the answer is. But at a certain point, your hand is going to go really, really fast. And now you know that is your guides talking to you, giving you the answers. And another tool that I would give you is to look out and find a a coach, and see how this person can help you find what works for you, because we all have different talents. There is clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, and clairknowing. There are the 4 main clairs. Some people work with magnetism and they receive messages from the guides on how to heal people. There are so many ways, and there are so many exercises that can help you tap into those skills and tap first into the skill that is easiest for you to develop. So recently I have started to offer coaching sessions to people. And what I do is that I connect with the guides and I open the person's Akashic records, and the guides just tell me what's best for the person to work on at the moment to develop their psychic abilities. So this is something that you can do if you want to go on a more advanced level. And I myself have a mentor, and my mentor has a mentor, so it's always how that works. It's always people helping people to move forward and to hone and develop their skills. So there you go. If you have other tips, other tools that you want to share with me, or you want to share your experience as you are beginning or when you were a beginner, please write to me in the comments. I always love writing, reading your comments. And voila, thank you very much. Bye bye.